here we are. We're gonna go through the trailers, overanalyze everything. I'm just gonna say my thoughts out loud, see if we get something coherent, and we will see. So, I've got the trailers in just my queue here to make it an easy playlist. So this is the very first trailer that was released, and then the Crystal Rush trailer, Light Strike trailer, and Spacebound trailer, all in order of when they were released. And now that we've actually seen the lobby a bit, we can maybe connect things a bit more. So I'm going to full screen this, and we're just gonna watch it. I will be pausing through it whenever, and if you want to watch these for yourself, see if I missed anything or whatever, go to TubNet down here. Why am I not subscribed? I'm gonna do that. But yeah, just channel is called TubNet. It's got 88.6 thousand subscribers right now. That's the logo. Hard to miss, you know. It'll probably be the first thing that pops up when you search TubNet like I did here. So, let's analyze these trailers. Right, trailer 1. I really hope it's not too loud. Alright, so... step 1, let's go back. So, we were looking at this earlier. I thought this was, like, maybe the space place. I was wrong. This seems to literally just be, like, whatever junction you come in on. Like, you know, train stations and stuff. I guess... Oh, yeah, those subway rails were probably just, like, trains or something. But I guess this is just, like... where you're supposed to technically come in, even though it's not your proper spawn point. But yeah, so this is just the entrance area. There's the big old TubNet building, and those are some interesting statues on the right there. Those are some very interesting statues. I should see if I can find that in the actual map, because those statues might be something. They look kind of like villagers, kind of not. But we've got a team of at least 3. And they all have a symbol on them. Like, if you saw the Twitch Rivals showing of TubNet stuff, the teams they set were like the pink crystals or the yellow bells or whatever. But like at least half of the teams were themed after something about the Craftmaster, and I feel like maybe all of them were, and some were just more subtle. But like the crystals, very obvious with the Craftmaster, because that's like kind of the whole thing. The white flower is positioned exactly where it was on the Craftmaster as just a little like decorative thing, and I think that yellow, that's yellow, the yellow bell team. I have no idea what the yellow bell has to do with the Craftmaster yet, but there was something in the quote-unquote museum. So there might be something later. And then they're either holding or defending a flag. And that feels very noteworthy to me, especially because A, in this shot, it's the same color as the TubNet logo on the TubNet building. And B, we were looking at the TubNet flag earlier. So that is something worth checking out. I should go see if that statue still exists in the lobbies when we are able to get back onto it. Props to all the builders, by the way. Absolutely stellar. Alright. Party invites. We did see how that worked. Now, I wonder if we can find this actual apartment building in the lobby. I wonder. That would be very cool, I think. It'd be very cool to find, like, oh, this is the room from the trailer, you know? And who knows, maybe a different room in this apartment complex would have lore as well. Yeah, see, there's the jetpack that we were talking about. Alright, what is that? Sorry. Oh, that is... We're supposed to go by frame. Somcorp? Or Somcor? Whatever. Som Corporation. I don't know if that's a placeholder or not. Som Corporation, Some Corporation. Like, random corporation. Or it could, like, actually be a corporation we have to worry about. Let's see. Any notable buildings here? No, it just looks like a regular cityscape. There's that doctor. Not doctor. Scientist. There's that scientist person. Whatever his name is. I already forgot. But he's holding that case with, like, the secret crystal, you know? Like, oh no, like, please stop being so careless around this case. It's highly sensitive type stuff. So he's already there, which is very important. There's an amusement park? I wonder if the map actually goes that far. I would love to go look at the amusement park. Because, right now, this is everything behind the TubNet building. I have not bothered to explore yet. Because you spawn in, like, in front of the TubNet building a ways. And I went, like, straight to the right. And not even that far in this direction. So, I have no idea how many of these buildings are actually there. But we will find out in a bit. And then, so let's see. Somcorp and Conjoint Somcorp building. I can't tell if they are or are not connected to that planetarium there. But based on the rocket right next to it, I think that's where you play Spacebound. Might just be me, but I think that's where you play Spacebound. And then anything else noteworthy? You've got a plane landing place. There's a little boat in the water there. And until we actually go look at these, the rest of these really do just look like other buildings. One second. I want to see. Does anything show up when they go in the night mode? Anything out of the ordinary? Don't think so. Yeah, so that was the first one that released about a month ago or so. Okay. Here we are into the Crystal Rush trailer. This is the first game-specific trailer that released. Now, it's important to note, we are in front of Somcor. I figured that comparison would be important. We have an agent-looking guy here. We're in front of Somcor. So, clearly this corporation is important to the bigger lore. I don't know how yet. Probably some, like, you know, corporation is corrupted, has things they shouldn't be messing with type stuff, but we'll see. So we got some agent-looking guy outside of Somcor. And they are facilitating the transfer of these crystals, along with the scientist guy from earlier. They've got, you know, the armored vans, they've got, like, police vehicles for extra protection. And it looks like they're taking this away from Somcor. And then whatever crystals they were transporting became unstable, spawned these. This was the beginning of the outbreak, it looks like. Whatever they were digging into, wherever that came from, this was the beginning of the crystal outbreak. Right. Sorry, what did that say? Mysterious crystals. So yeah, that was the outbreak there. Crystals appear after an explosion at Clock Round Plaza. New Block City Police have sealed off the area or whatever. It just stops at the. So the lobby is called New Block City. Gotta remember that. So I stopped calling it the lobby. But yeah, so Somcor is involved, and obviously this is very secret. That scientist guy is like probably the head of researching these crystals wherever they found them. They transferred an unstable one, or maybe it got jostled too much and became unstable. But then, it exploded and these crystals went all over the place. In Clock Round Plaza. We will go look at that when the lobbies open back up. And now here we are in the actual game part of it. Got a few maps, and I've seen people analyze the gameplay of this, and I'm not very good at any PvP games, so I'm not gonna worry about the gameplay. I'm gonna worry more about lore here. So after we establish that, that crystal blew up and the plaza shut down, we now have a few different maps of playing Crystal Rush. Gather resources, the pink crystals and the gray crystals. That's very important to think about. It's extremely important to think about. Because, as we saw outside of the Craftmaster Live place, there was a gray crystal. And in this game, when you're gathering resources, like it says, my reference here is Captain Puffy's video on some of her plays in the alpha. And you mine the gray crystals to get weaker stuff, and then you mine the pink crystals to get stronger stuff, but they take longer to mine type thing, And so what this implies is that A, there are two types of crystals. B, the gray ones are weaker, and the pink ones are stronger. What that implies for any sort of infectious crystals in the town or whatever, I can't properly say. We're gonna try and think of something, I guess. I'm not very good at making this coherent. I'm no MatPat, I'm no game theory, but we're gonna sit here and look at this. Looking at the designs itself, maybe it's just for simplicity's sake, but the pink to the gray, it looks like you just took off this little extra nub. So I don't know if that has any implications or if it's just a design choice. But the gray looks like it's gotten the color sapped out of it or something. Like all its power has been used, which would make sense as to why it's a weaker crystal in this game. So my guess is that they start pink and then turn to gray after they've been used up somehow. Don't ask me how, but somehow. And while we're spitballing ideas, the Craftmaster. We haven't seen him in any of these trailers, but he was there to, promo this on Twitch Rivals and stuff. And the most notable thing about him is the crystal shard in his eye. Now, my current theory, if we go back to the van, is that... Go back a bit. He is the Craftmaster. Or maybe one of the other agents protecting this thing. But I'm going to say it's him. because he was directly hit with that explosion, and the Craftmaster needs some sort of origin story. So I think whichever agent that was inside the truck with the scientist, because obviously the scientist is still kicking because we see him in the lobby, like hosting Crystal Rush or whatever. And so I think the crystal hit him in the eye, lodged itself in there, and then maybe like messed with his head a lot, depending on how deep it's lodged. Because first of all, I can't remember the name of the guy, but if you take a psychology class, you'll definitely hear about him. The guy who got like a metal pole through his skull and survived, and so like he was able to keep living, but his personality changed entirely because of the parts of the brain that was hit. And it was very big at the time and was extremely helpful in realizing what parts of the brain do what. So it was like a tragic accident, of course, but it led to a huge discovery in psychology and just brain function and all that. So I wonder if something similar happened, that getting that crystal lodged in his eye changed his personality, maybe made him forget who he was even. And also, depending on how infectious these crystals are, maybe like they kind of possessed him or changed him. Like, some kind of villain origin story or something. I'm not necessarily calling him a villain. We have no proof towards either side if he's a good or bad force. But considering he's the only person connected to these crystals, which seem to be slowly taking over the city, then like I'd say that's something to be concerned about. And also, like, if we are going off of the idea that like the crystals can get drained of their power, then there's some sort of energy in them that will be like getting fed directly into the guy's brain. And who knows what effects that has. In fact, the Craftmaster is masked constantly, gloved as well. You can't see any part of his skin whatsoever. Which makes me wonder if, like, if you got hit by the crystals, if, like, the crystal powers got into your system somehow, if it would have some, like, physical effect as well, not just a mental effect. Like, maybe his skin turned as pink as the crystals or something. Or maybe there's, like, pink veins, who knows. But based on the fact that, like, you couldn't see any of who was under the mask in Twitch Rivals, I feel like that was very intentional. And that, like, the crystals, if they can infect a person, do not only, like, affect the person mentally, but also, there's some physical stuff. Which would, give you some super clear telltale signs of what to look out for. But I mean, like, the crystal lodged in his skull, it's kind of obvious right there. While I'm rambling, actually, I don't know if it's gonna create some sort of hive mind or what, but assuming that these crystals are infectious to the mind, what if Somcor was trying to harness that power to control the city or whatever? Like, brainwash everyone, have a mindless army type thing. Who knows? Maybe this is a super far outrageous stretch, but Somcor feels like you're kind of a dirty corporation story bit. Or maybe they're not even that far yet. Maybe they only just discovered the crystals and are trying to figure out what to do with them. Anyway, let's keep looking at this game. Another thought of mine is that the other maps, well, this one and all of the maps, might actually have hints to some of the story. I don't know what they would be. They only show you, like, how the games work in this trailer. But I bet, like, I would not be surprised if they had some, like, subtle details made into the map, each map, that, like, could go overlooked if you're way too focused on PvP. But if you find them because you're focusing more on exploring, and then it could give you some hint towards the overarching story. That's my hypothesis. Now, let's take a look at the other maps here. Because I want to talk about the big crystals. I don't know what to do about the big crystals, or say about the big crystals, but like these ones in the center of the map that are like some giant chandelier, I have no idea what it means. But we're gonna sit here and guess. So first of all, this one makes it really easy to see sort of your team crystals. They're the blue ones here. And then like that one as well. And then like, you get these pink ones for, the stronger stuff. And there's this big giant crystal in the middle. And each map has one. They look slightly different. But yeah, so there's this crystal. And the animated one looks very glowy. And then here it is outside of it. Oh, see, it goes by so fast. And then the crystal in this one, I'm gonna compare it to the other one here. Yeah, yes, very cool. Let me see the overview. So you've got your center bit and whatnot, where like all the super cool stuff's gonna be. But I'm not seeing a crystal here, except for the center bit. So that's interesting. And then this one here, the giant crystal is below it. Each of these locations is something to think about. Because of A, where these giant crystals are positioned, and B, the environment around them. So our first map here, this is the one shown in the animated stuff. Which means, like, we're going to assume that they're people of New Block City. But they are coming in on the helicopter to look at the first map they show us, which is in the water here. And because it's in the water here, this entire place has been hollowed out by some kind of gravitational force. Like, look at that. Look at the swirling. It's like that specific part is getting drained. And I can't remember what it's called when they do that, but that. So, what I'm thinking right now is that these crystals come from off-planet. A planet not our own. A planet that isn't the same planet where New Block City is. Until one day, somehow, some way, one of those giant crystals lands in the ocean of our planet. And then obviously, like Somcore and possibly others, go in to see what's up, because foreign object creating some weird shit in the ocean. Now, the structure of the maps to play the game, I'm going to presently write off as just like having platforms to play on. For at least this one. Actually, wait, let's take a second look at it. Protect the world. That is super key into what we're talking about. And actually, I'm taking that back. The platforms to play on are not just like to have a space to play on. These platforms to me look like observation platforms. Like the corporations and the scientists set up shop to be able to observe this crystal as best they can. That's why they've got some chains to it. That's why they've got this center thing. And then each of these tunnels here where like your base will be. So this giant crystal here. Now maybe I'm digging way too deep into this, but it looks like there's a chunk of this one missing. Maybe that's just the design of it. Who knows? But like the rest of them feel more symmetrical, round, whatever, but there's a solid like chunk right here that's just missing. So, map number 1 is on our home world, and this crystal came out of nowhere, and the scientists are trying to figure out what it is. And then in taking a sample from somewhere to somewhere else, it exploded and created that explosion in New Block City. That's what I'm saying. They flash really fast. This next one, no idea if I should say it's on our world or if it's off of our world, but the crystal is down at the bottom here this time. There are some like shorter crystal shards in the corners here. And there are some pink veins through the ice. I have no idea if they're veins of the gem or like veins of like infecting the rest of the world type thing. Like, sorry, I keep saying like too much. Because this could be like a vein of the crystals in the sense that it's something you mine out of the ground. Or it could be a vein of crystals in the sense that like it's invasive and infecting the environment. And these platforms, these structures, I have no idea if they are considered something on quote-unquote our planet or if this is a different planet. And then this one in the foresty area, there doesn't seem to be a big main crystal from what I'm looking at. Except for like the one in the center that's kind of more in the ground, but it looks so flowery you almost can't call it a crystal. Like, maybe you're just mistaking it for something else. Because like it looks so flowery in this one, and then you've got this trail of flowers down here, and if you look very closely down there, can't really tell if those are more of the crystals or more of the flowers. But like based on these deep slate structures, this is either some ancient city or again something like not on planet. Oh, and hello giant statue. How did I almost miss that? You've got a fucking giant head up here. There's the neck. There is the arms. And it is holding up this, whatever this building is. And there's another one over here that's just floating on its own. But this one's being held by a statue. And, like, there's your torso and there's the legs. So who knows what that means? This one has a crystal that's darker. And that is also interesting to me. Because you've got like this darker center. And then there's still like the shiny white and then the pink at the edges. But as you get closer to the center, it's fading. Which makes me think that it's losing all of its power. And I bet if the power keeps getting sapped out of it, I don't know how it does that, but I bet that whole thing is going to go gray. Eventually. But, like, the color's already certainly looking dull. And then again, this area, I have zero idea if we can consider it like on our planet or on a different planet. But we've got a whole civilization down here, and I would love to explore that, but I don't know if we'd be able to. Because I would love to go into like all the houses I could, see if we could get inside of that hallway, whatever it is. That looks to be a knocked over tower. I have no idea what knocked that over. And whatever this is behind here, looks kind of like a door or something. And I wonder if that leads anywhere or if it's just for looks. But yeah, there are a lot of places to explore, which looks really fun. But I think you would probably die before you could hit any of them. Because, like, Bed Wars style, if you have to bridge everywhere, and then if you fall off, then, like, it usually, once you hit a certain block level, they're like, oh, yep, you've died. They don't just, like, keep you falling the entire time. So I don't think they'll actually let you, like, fall and live to explore those. But I would love to explore. And then also, whatever's going on down there, I don't know what the landscape is doing. But it is especially interesting to see that the tagline or whatever for this is protect the world. That's a very interesting thing to throw in there, wouldn't you say? Like, it's just supposed to be a PvP game, but look at all these invading crystals or whatever. Very interesting. Very noteworthy that they're saying protect the world. Then protect your nexus, that's back to the gameplay type stuff. Beat the competition. We're gonna go back to that frame. Because the nexus is your Bed Wars equivalent of your bed. And obviously your teams are color-coded. So that means, or it could imply, that there are different colored crystals, just like besides the pink and the gray ones. Because as we've said, the pink ones seem to be the basic one, and then the gray ones seem to be what I'm calling for now the drained ones. But then there are these abnormalities. We've got the purple one and the green one, which are shaped the same but are colored differently. We've got the yellow one, which I want to go back and look at the first trailer for a second. But we've got the yellow one, and then we have the blue one. Now, not only are they shaped different than the original crystals, but they're colored differently. And does that imply anything? Who knows? And does the gameplay allude to anything about the meaning of these crystals? Because, like, obviously, as we've established, the pink crystals seem to be invasive and, like, not a good thing. But then it wants you to protect your appropriately colored nexus. So are these colored ones, like, okay? Or is there something else afoot? Or am I digging too deep into this and it's just fucking gameplay? Now, we're gonna sticky note that yellow crystal for a second. Alright. We're gonna go back to the first one. We're gonna go look at that statue again. That's what we're doing. We're looking for the statue. In here. There. Nope, nope. That's not what I meant to do. Go back. Now, that yellow. Do we think that's the crystal? Or do we think that's the Twitch Rivals team? It's really hard to tell from here. How can I... Yeah, it's already highest quality. Bruh. It's already at, like, the highest quality it can be. So, I can't get an image better than this. But I cannot tell if that's, like, the Twitch Rivals yellow team, or if that's, like, the Crystal Rush yellow team. Because that could sway the implications. We'll think about that later. Let's go on to Light Strike. Now. Alright. Alright. This dude's carrying... I'm not sure if this is actually a dude, I'm sorry. This person's carrying some glowing thing. It looks very similar to the pink one that was being transported in, like, the very first trailer. Not the very first trailer, the Crystal Rush trailer. Duh. It looks a lot like that device that was being safely transported in the Crystal Rush trailer. But this is green, and that one was pink. And the pink one was heavily guarded, and this one's just being held. But it has definitely been stolen because this person is being chased and there are sirens. Now, graffiti. That says New Block City. I did see something like that in the lobby before I actually started my recording. So if the lobbies can open again, I will go look for that. We'll see if we can find this location as well. Right, so we've got 2 of them in that car. Joint effort. Right behind him. Because, like, again, very noteworthy that... Okay, a lot of graffiti here. Can we get a clear shot of any of it? Because there's NB for New Block. And then, what are those? There's, like, the rock hands. There's some sort of face that might be a thumbs up. And I have no idea what these 2 are. We should see if we can find this place as well. But again, the pink version of whatever that is they're carrying had to be, like, securely transferred. They're openly holding it and jostling it around. And so, I don't know what implications that holds. But let's just keep watching for now. So they crashed, they weren't able to escape, they had to leave this behind. And now we're in the gameplay. This is another Team PvP one. Stop the Star. So the Star is that machine that they were trying to steal, or whatever. And, first of all, Star is an abbreviation for something. That is very important to note. I have no idea what it could mean, but Star is an abbreviation. Okay, that was quick. So. Come on. That looks like dead. Like they have successfully stopped the Star or whatever. Yeah, so this is a Star. And we're not going to forget that's an abbreviation for something. But secondly, we had the pink version of this, which feels almost like a prototype at this point. The pink version was being very safely transported. It was like a very smooth ride. There was a lot of protection. And the pink one still exploded. Then there's this green one that looks a lot more stable because it's being jostled around a lot in this dramatic chase. And it hasn't done anything. Now, assuming that, like, there's green crystals in here, and there's pink crystals in that other one from the Crystal Rush trailer, green, we can at very least tell, is more stable. What effect it may or may not have on people, we don't know. But the different colors of crystals do seem to actually be important. Right. We're gonna go on to our final one here, the space one.
Your dream of going to space.
Alright, first of all, dates. Hold up. Alright, alright. 917, 1160. That's a little strange. It's a little strange. Because, first of all, this is the 21st century, and that on screen is the 12th century. But who's even to say that this world has time like our time? 917, though, is something we might want to take note of. Like, maybe there will be an event on that day or something. But I think it's important we remember 917, because if you're trying to do lore, dates are almost always important. And then 9:15 a.m. Who knows what time zone that actually is? But it's one of them, I think. 1160, huh? Again, that's like in our calendar, that's 12th century. And we're here in the 21st, so I don't know what to make of TubNet's timeline, but I'm going to assume that, like, the month and the day are still the same. But I know some people write it the other way around. Like, the day is first and then it's the month. And because we don't have a solid idea of how this world's calendar works, it could very well be the 9th of the 17th month. Who knows? But we're just going to assume September 17th for now. Which, let me look at my calendar. September 17th is a Saturday this year. So I think we should keep an eye on that day and see if anything happens.
Dream of going to space might just come true.
Featuring Dr. Stefan. He is not the same scientist guy from before, but if they are named, they are important to the lore.
Welcome to the Spacebound program.
Somcore! Our space program is Somcore. So there is your possibly dirty corporation. And considering they are affiliated with space travel, then their involvement with the crystals from possibly off-planet absolutely makes sense. I have no idea what this game properly is, but I think I'm going to play a lot of this one for two reasons. One, this might end up being the heaviest lore game, at least right off the bat, until they start adding more. But B, I am not good at PvP at all. So I'd rather do something that, like, eases my brain more than anything. But let's look at the background here. We've got some kind of giant boat in the background. Helicopter as well. I don't know if that's like a Somcorp helicopter or what. Anything else in the area? This doesn't look to be directly connected to New City, I don't think. Like, this is an off-island location away from the rest of the city. And then, sorry, let's go back again. That is a lot of debris. Look at all those broken satellites and, like, asteroid bits. Something... I don't know if this is just like, oh, look at all these failed attempts, or what, but they all look extremely broken.
Thank you for trusting us with your future. Somcorp, for the sake of mankind.
Somcorp, for the sake of mankind. If that doesn't say, suspicious corporation, I don't know what does. Such a bop. Such a bop, though. Alright, well, that is all of that. And I think this one really only served to just, further strengthen some of my ideas that A, Somcore is your, suspicious, dirty corporation. And since they are involved in space stuff, they're definitely the ones who brought the crystals here and decided, oh, let's try and experiment with it and figure out what it is and then mess with it rather than doing the smart thing and leaving things alone. Like if you don't know what it is, don't touch it type thing. But then the scientists go, this is cool, we should figure out what it is. And I appreciate the curiosity, but now there's been an outbreak of crystals around New Block City. So, that's all the ramblings I have about the currently released trailers. As of recording this, TubNet drops in 2 days. So I will be excited to see what will happen. Now that I'm done rambling, you have a good day or night or whatever time it is where you are. Just enjoy yourself. And I will see you later, whenever later may be.